I would disagree with you, One Iam. That word now, it has connotations. In fact, when I hear, because of the connotations that are attached to it, and because I know
white people have given the word a different power and a different understanding, and they have thrown so much garbage upon the word that the word is almost unredeemable, that you can't use it. Everybody hates the word, but the word is not bad. The word is a word, and it had perfectly good meaning. And I don't think the word should be dished out and thrown. I think what we should do is redeem it, because you can't bury the word. You can't get rid of it. All the other words are based on it to refer to black people, niggas.
Well, that's because this is the problem, One Iam. You're an intellectual, and so is your wife. And an intellectual is just one who deals with concepts and ideas. You think about stuff. But the fact of the matter is that word has been trashed, and the way blacks have grown up, when they grow up, they get pounded on, their head gets pounded on from when they're a child, when they grow up. Bad person, inferior person, on TV, everything. And so when they call each other nigger, it's almost a way of saying, yeah, I'm a degraded human being, no big deal, I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, that type of thing. And it's a word, I think it beats on people's heads subconsciously, because they don't think about it like you think about it. That's not how they mean it. It's a word that gives them every day another smackdown. I mean, just boom, boom, boom.
Right.
So I would disagree with you.
I appreciate that you disagree, but at the same time, I'm listening to plenty of people, and they have their niggas and their friends. That's my nigga. I love this nigga. I die for him. You know what I'm saying?
But it's the terminology and how it's being used.
It's not a negative connotation at all. As a matter of fact, it's all positive. It's all, this nigga right here is ride or die. Me and this nigga will roll together. I will kill with this nigga.
Okay, but can you walk into an employer and go, hey, my nigga?
It just depends if my nigga's behind the desk.
Well, this is another thing. One Iam. If you notice, you and your generation, you haven't been cookie cuttered. In other words, the blacks that I grew up with, I guess the reason I didn't get any prejudice, they were all individuals to me. They didn't all bear a certain trait or act a certain way. It wasn't like they were, part of a litter, so to speak. But today's generation of blacks have grown up, so beat down that the individuality of the person, there's so many younger blacks that act and speak and have a personality trait the same as a whole bunch of other people their age. Yeah. So that it looks like that individuality, for instance, like Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Like Jimi Hendrix. You couldn't tell whether he was, if he got behind a glass door, a blackened out glass door, and talked, and you had a conversation with him, you couldn't tell whether he was black or white by talking to him.
Right.
That's what I mean. He was such an individual. But that's not now how it is. I mean, the whole way they've taken the language so that you speak, it's almost a black dialect now. I mean, it's almost like the system, now it's broke apart the family, herded you into the cities. Now it's herded you into certain areas. Now it's given the same mentality. Now it's using the music to another bust you down. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Just a minute. Let me say this. You're listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. This is the Urban Revolution program. I'm your host, One Iam. My co-host is Debbie. And this is listener-supported radio. We would appreciate it if you donate a couple of bucks to keep us on the air, and we'll keep giving you the 411 about what's really going down and what words really mean and how you cannot get rid of base words. Even though you throw a whole bunch of other words on top of them, they're like, don't say that one, say this one, but this one means that one. Okay? African American, that means he's a nigger. Black, okay, you're black, okay, you say he's a nigger. Basically, color, Okay, he's a nigger. There's nothing wrong with the word nigger. It just means that he's a dark-skinned person of African ancestry or dark-skinned individual.
I sure wish we had some callers out there that live down on the plantation so they could tell him what the real meaning of nigger was when they got called one while they were getting beat.
Let me tell you, caller 307. Y'all, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Let's have it.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I recently saw a video about the NASA employee.
Yeah.
And, the guy that was talking about the lead helmet and all that in Elenin.
Yeah.
Have you guys done a follow-up with this guy at all, or?
Oh, we're not talking about Elenin or Nassau today. We're talking about niggers today.
Oh. Okay.
Do you have any comments on niggers that you'd like to?
I don't know if I'm the proper race to be. I like Tupac. I'll say that I like Tupac.
You like Tupac? Tupac is a nigger, right?
If that means
Tupac, he's a dark-skinned guy of African descent. You know, basically, right? He's a nigger. As a matter of fact, let me tell you this: Tupac had nigger tattooed across his body. The word nigger tattooed across his body, up around his stomach and solar plexus. And nigger meant something. It meant something of a positive. The letter stood for gaining goals. It stood for something positive. You know, he didn't look at nigger as something bad, and he had plenty of niggas that he ran with, including what's the guy, the big nigga name that he ran with?
Oh, I don't know.
You know, Death Row. You know, the Death Row.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Suge Knight. There you go.
But again, these are people who never researched their ancestry to find out how your great-great-great-grandparents that lived on the other.
I know how they go.
We're from the north, okay? The people that lived on the other side of that Mason-Dixon line before they came up north.
We from the north. What that mean? Huh?
You're from
White
the north.
folks were just as vicious in the north as they was in the south.
Not back in
Are you kidding?
Not back in
They
the
was
south.
calling you nigga.
That's why they came up here, man. That's why most people
came up here
to the north was because
They came up here for work. They came up here for work in the plants and in the industries when the industrial age came.
They came up here to get away from the racism, from the.
They didn't come to get away from the racism.
Yes, they did.
You got up here and you found even more racism up here.
That's right. I've been to New York. As a
matter of fact, I prefer Southern racism to Northern racism. Because up here in the North, they smile in your face and everything and then stab you in the back. When in the South, they just tell you you're a nigger. You know what I'm saying? I hate you.
But I'm saying,
in the South, they got a code of honor. I mean, you want to think about something that makes you cry. Is that suppose you never got the civil rights? That means look at the history since you got the civil rights. Right. Completely decimated. Imagine if you had that 190,000 black business base, that you had a whole economic base, but landowners. You know how many black farmers there were before the Civil Rights Act? Now look how many.
We used to have over 13 million acres of land in this country.
That's right.
Well, according to the people that I know that come from down there that were sharecroppers and everything else, they still find the word nigga.
Well, you think the South? I mean, the North was great.
I'm not saying the North was different, but I'm saying, man, the word nigga was what was beaten to them every day, and it represented nothing good.
Can you get away?
Nothing good.
I know what they done to it, and I know how hurt you are.
So how you gonna take something that started out meaning nothing good and make
it didn't start out
that
way. It did not start out that way.
They was down there whipping that boy hanging from the.
That ain't where it started.
They was calling him nigga and beating him and burning him.
That's not where it started.
Yes.
Debbie, the word started long before that. And the word was just meant, it was no negative connotation whatsoever. It was just meant as a good word to describe a person of Negro ancestry, a black person, a dark-skinned person. That's all. He could have been wealthier and more classy than any white guy. You understand? Now, white folks in America took it and dished a whole lot of bull crap up on it. You know what I'm saying? And it's got you all messed up about it and everything.
Why do so many people say that it's such a controversial, offensive racial slur that was invented? Racism,
because of what white people done to the word.
And to dehumanize us. Why? Why?
They done a whole lot of stuff.
Because that's what they did to us, man, with that word.
Oh,
that's right. Listen, I'm with Debbie here. When white people talk about one another to each other, they don't call each other cracker or any other thing. They call them by their name, or this is my friend or whatever. Only in the black community you got this generic word which has got all these meanings, in which if a white guy walks up to a black guy and says you're a nigger or you're my nigger or whatever, if I had used that wrong word, if that guy didn't realize, go ahead.
Hijacker, I'm your nigger. I'm a person of African descent.
Okay, let me say this. You're from a different culture, but go walk up to a real person in the ghetto and be a white person. Bring somebody over here and take them over on Glen Court and let them walk up to somebody, a white person, walk up to somebody and say, hey, nigga, and see what happens. They're going to get beat. They're going to beat the crap out of him.
Let a white guy ride up in the neighborhood and he's lost and he sees a guy on the street.
And he say, hey, nigga, come here.
Hey, nigger, can you come here and give me directions? Yeah, naturally, because of what's been done to the word and everything and this, that, and the other, and people not understanding and doing the history on the word, then yeah, he might take offense to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he called me a nigger. Even though you are a nigger, a person of dark skin, African ancestry. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? See, really, until you just said that, really nobody has equivalated to being dark skin ancestry. It's always been a word that's been equivalated to oppression.
That's because of the 400 years. That's because they heaped 400 to 500 years of filth and garbage on top of the word. You understand?
Man, it is what
But I'm not giving them the power to kill that word.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? And the hip hop community is not giving them the power to kill that word.
Yes, they are. The hip hop community is about to stop using it.
Are you there, Weisenberg?
Hey, 3007.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Let's. Do you have anything you want to comment?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. To you actually. The word in general. I mean, you are getting so close to what actually has changed this word, and the word is empowered. Who empowers the word? Now, you said, the white people came in and started calling the blacks nigger, and that the white people changed the word. No, they didn't.
The white people always did.
The person that the word is said to is the one that gives the word the power, not the person saying the word. Like if I were to say a word to you, it doesn't matter what it is. I could say you're a douchebag. Okay,
well,
that's you.
I don't have a problem with it.
No, I'm trying to come up with a different word, just as an example. Now, if I said you're a douchebag, now to you may go, well, okay, fine, whatever the hell that means, I don't care. But if you personally thought that word was bad, then you're the one that's giving the word the power, not me. Because to me, douchebag is just a funny word to call somebody. I'm not. To me, it doesn't have any meaning whatsoever. But if it has meaning to you, then you're the one who empowers the word. It's not me that gives it the power. It's you.
As a matter of fact, Nighthawk, the radio station owner, last week, he said he called himself an asshole. And he said it takes away the power of anybody else to call him an asshole by him calling himself an asshole. Like it's no big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he is an asshole, but that's beyond the...
Right. Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, look, I don't want nobody to have the power, but
you give them the power.
I'm not giving them the power because I just don't want to be called. I don't want to be called an N-word. I don't want to be called a B-word.
You gonna start crying if somebody call you a nigga.
I don't want to be called a C-word. No, but I'm gonna tell you, my level of frustration is gonna possibly cause me to hit you because I just don't like that word.
Okay.
My grandmother taught me that she got away from it, and you never want to be called that.
Okay, she has fully empowered the word with negative connotations because white people heaped a whole bunch of garbage.
I'm not looking at it at a white way or a black way. I'm looking at the way I was taught, the way I was raised as I don't. I'm looking at it from my black roots,